Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 5, Round 4 for the Australian Grand Prix at the Bend. First time we've ever been at this track, and it's the second longest track that we've ever been to. We'll get to that in just a second, but let's go through your starting grid. Starting in last by himself is going to be the 77 of Stingray Rob, falling outside the top 10 in points after a couple disappointing races at Motegi. Then up to row 13, a surprise, Nolan Siegel did not set a time, so he's going to be starting deep in the field. A lot of work to do. And then Glubler Lore, just coming off his best result of the season, going to be starting all the way down in 25th. Then we go to row 12. Been a disappointing season for Tinkle McStinkle so far, 27th and last in points. He's going to have to his inside Chet Jordan with a pretty disappointing qualifying effort, going to be starting all the way back in 23rd. As we move up to row 11, we got McStinkle's teammate Miles Rowe. Then to his inside is the 94 of Dawa Tenzin, just outside the leader's circle. And then we move up to row 10, another disappointing qualifying effort for Brendan Hubbard. Has not qualified inside the top 12 so far this season. And then Nico Hulkenberg will be starting from 19th today. As we move up to row 9, Devlin DiFrancesco going to be starting 18th once again. Then to his inside, Robbie Lohr with his lowest qualifying effort this season in 17th. Then we move up to row 8, and it's a Team Eggs row. Ethan Mart's going to be on the outside and Lawless Allen on the inside. These two have been pretty close points-wise as well. As you can see, they're 21st and 22nd tied on points amount. Then we move to row 7, and that's where you're going to find Lindsey Brewer coming off a pretty good race at Motegi, but she did not make it into round 2, and neither did Connor Zilic. Pretty surprising. It was a pretty stacked Group A, but he will be starting from 13th. As we go up to row 6, Ryan Preece. Been a disappointing start to the season, hasn't finished better than 14th. He's going to be starting from 12th today. And then Mahavir Raghunathan will be on his inside with his best qualifying effort of the season in 11th. Then we move to row 5. Francesco Draconi also gets his best qualifying effort. He'll be starting from 10th. He's second in the championship. Then David Malukas will also have his best qualifying effort in 9th. Row 4 is two Banshees of Little Miami teammates looking for good runs today. Alessio Deletta is going to be starting on the outside with Benjamin Peterson on the inside. These two, this is a kind of track that very suits their driving style, so look for them to move forward. Row 3, starting on the outside, Justin Allgaier coming off his first career podium at Motegi. Going to be starting in 6th, and then Guy Gagné, the only one in Viking racing to advance to round 2. It was a disappointing qualifying effort for that team, but Guy Gagné put it in 5th. Going to have to see what he can do today. In row 2, it's going to be Swindlers of the Immortals on both the outside and inside with Dorian Pinn, your points leader, starting 4th, and then Louis Foster going to be starting from 3rd. And then front row, it's going to be Marcus Armstrong, once again qualifying inside the top 30, but not on pole this time. It's going to be on the outside. And then Shane Van Gisbergen, been a disappointing start to the season. Motegi did not go as planned, but he will get his second pole already this season. So here's your race info. We are at Tailem Bend, Australia, just a little bit east of Adelaide. Track length 4.83 miles. This is the second longest track that we have ever been to. Le Mans still holds the record of the longest, over 8 miles, but this one just under 5 miles. And many, many turns, as you can look at that track map. A lot of places to mess up. So, gonna have to see how these drivers handle it. 20 laps, just under 100 miles, and then sim time of April 12th in the afternoon. Drivers' standings you can see is very tight at the top. Dorian Pinn coming off a second place. Her tied for her best ever result for Swindlers of the Immortals. And she's going to have Francesco Draconi just 1 point down as a rookie. That's a pretty good start. Then it's Foster, Gagne, and Jordan. And then your team standings, Swindlers of the Immortals took the lead. Viking Racing, however, only trails by 2, but all their cars are starting deep in the field. And the Banshees of Little Miami are in 3rd. So your starting grid scrolling across the top of the screen. Let's take a look at the weather. As I said, April 12th, 2 p.m. Not a lot of wind, just 2 miles per hour, 79 degrees, clear skies, 93-degree track temp. So pretty perfect weather. Let's take a look at the tires, because that was a huge thing of discussion at Motegi on the road course. Shane Van Gisbergen, your pole sitter, going to be on the hard tire. So we're going to have to see what he can do with that. We're going to have to see if this longer track will work better for that. The hard tires haven't traditionally worked out. Marcus Armstrong on the mediums, Louis Foster on the mediums, Dorian Pin on the mediums. Gagne is the first car on the softs. We're going to have to see what he can do with them. Has to make it about 10 laps. Then Justin Allgaier will be on the softs. Peterson on the mediums. Deletta on the mediums. Malukas on the mediums. Triconi on the softs, so he's going bold. Mahavir Raghunathan, been a good start to the season. He's going to be on hards. And then Ryan Preece on softs. No one will be starting from the pits today. So all 27 cars will take the green where they are supposed to. It is a long track. Unfortunately, since this is a newer track to iRacing, we don't have a working track map. Tragic. But interesting thing about this track is there's not a lot of corner identification. Not a lot of brake markers. And no super major features. It's a pretty flat track. There are some turns with some elevation. But it's a very, very windy circuit. It's going to be tough to pass. There's really only a couple good spots too. So you may be stuck behind the car in front for 5 miles without any way of getting through. So 4 races in, after this race, 20% of the season will have already been completed. And yet the championship is just starting to get itself figured out. Swindlers of the Immortals are your team standings leaders. They got 4 out of 6 of the spots in the Fast 6, and those 4 were all of their cars, with Armstrong and Gagne being the outsiders from Silly Men Racing and Viking Racing. Yeah, as you can tell, this is a long pace lap as we wait for the cars to make their way all the way around. Yeah, it's one of the more banked sections of the track, or I should say elevation, but it does have some banking. Quite an interesting turn. So we saw a lot of offs in qualifying earlier today. A lot of missed corners. And a lot of cars not getting their lap times in, so the field is kind of scrambled. We go through the final few turns. Australia has been on the schedule every season besides season 1, but many different tracks. Last season we went to Sandown, we've been to Phillips Island a couple times, Bathurst back in season 3, but this is the first time we've ever been to the Bend. This is going to be quite an exciting race. Only 20 laps. They're going to be a fight to the end. Pace car will pull off. And we are green. That is a very delayed start, but we are rolling now. Shane Van Gisbergen going to get away well, but Louis Foster is going to follow into second. Dorian Pinn did not get a great start. She drops a few spots, but Louis Foster is going to try to slot into second. Marcus Armstrong going to be side by side with the number 10. Through the first few turns, it was difficult to go through here side by side in qualifying, but Armstrong going to be in the beneficial spot as Dorian Pinn from 6th to 3rd. She had a rough start, but has already made it back as Marcus Armstrong trying to make a move for the lead in one of the turns. I don't know which one. There's so many of them. But Shane Van Gisbergen will stay ahead. Dorian Pinn will be in second, as there are many different lines being used, as here goes Marcus Armstrong trying to make another dive bomb move up the inside. He's going to be on the outside on this turn, but he is going aggressive for the lead early on. We are not under caution. That is fake. I don't know why it's saying that. Dorian Pinn gonna slot into third here. Louis Foster's in fourth. I do not believe we are under yellow. For whatever reason, we are under yellow flag here, but the pace car doesn't say so. So I have no idea what that's about, but I think we're still racing. As Shane Van Gisbergen still under attack from Marcus Armstrong. Don't know why it's glitching out and saying that we are under yellow, because it doesn't seem like we are. As Foster's now going to be in third here. Going to try to pick up the speed. This is very racy, but Armstrong has lost a few spots. Here comes Foster trying to look for second. And Foster's going to get up the inside, and he's going to get the position. So Louis Foster now up into second. But Armstrong going to try and battle back on the outside. For some reason now it's saying green flag. Don't know what that was about. So I guess everyone's full speed now. Apparently that was half speed, but they were still racing. So Louis Foster, I guess, benefits and goes into second, as Stingray Rob already going to bail into pit lane early on. But Shane Van Gisbergen up to a 2.4 second lead, as everyone's going full speed now. Don't know what that was about. It was like a local yellow gone everywhere. As Dorian Pinn going to dive up the inside of Marcus Armstrong. Going to try to take third, but not going to be able to do so. Armstrong drops back. Van Gisbergen already 2.7 seconds up the road. Foster follows, followed by Armstrong. The top six are quite gone from the rest of the field. Justin Allgaier, and then it's a huge drop to Alessio Deletta, who moved up to 7th. We go through the S section. Quite a difficult section with how many curbs there are and how easy it is to get it wrong. But the field follows Louis Foster as Shane Van Gisbergen already almost up to a 3-second lead. Armstrong gonna try to get a draft here, but it's not long enough of a straightaway to get by. As I said, it's pretty tough to be able to move forward. Cars that have moved forward, Chet Jordan, Nolan Siegel, have picked up a couple spots. They started deep in the field and have moved up. Ryan Preece inside the top 10 now, after starting down in 12th. But 3.2 seconds already for Shane Van Gisbergen. as down the front stretch, no one close enough to really be able to make a move. Going into turn one, at least in this group, Armstrong may try to peak, but not quite able to get there. Francesco Draconi, he's got Ryan Preece and David Malukas right on him. Both these guys have had rough starts to the season. They want to move forward as Preece and Malukas go side by side. Ethan Martz got by Lindsey Brewer for 12th. There's some good battles back here. Robbie Lohr and Brennan Hubbard battling side by side. All the way back here as well. Got some trading of positions. But still 3 seconds for Shane Van Gisbergen. It's been clean so far. Despite whatever that was at the start. Don't know what that was. Strange glitch that I've never seen before. Justin Allgaier kind of starting to lose the group a little bit with Guy Gagné. Connor Zilic has picked up a spot from Lindsey Brewer. So despite the limited passing opportunities, a lot of cars being racy early on. Ryan Preece did actually pick up a spot from Francesco Draconi. And know why I didn't catch that, but he did make a move around the 49 car. And Louis Foster is starting to gain a good amount on Shane Van Gisbergen. He's only back by 1.5 seconds now. And Marcus Armstrong is following, so the lead is shrinking. So one may have had an error, a slide that has caught them back up. Van Gisbergen is on the hard tires, while these two are on the mediums. So they may be at a little bit of an advantage, but Van Gisbergen only in the lead by a little over a second now. So that's about 2 seconds that just got picked off from him. Look at Justin Allgaier all over the back of Guy Gagné. He may try to make a move. Going into turn one, he's going to get on the curbing and going to try and go around the outside, and he's going to get the position. Meanwhile, back here, Connor Zilic is the second car to bail to pit lane. So he is going to be changing his tires. Meanwhile, David Malukas into the top 10 as he gets by Francesco Draconi, who's lost a few spots. Raghunathan will also pit early. This is a group back here. Chet Jordan, he's moving forward 23rd to 18th so far. As Siegel's also trying to move forward 26th to 19th. So far that is your biggest mover. But he isn't quite able to pull it off. Meanwhile, David Malukas is backwards. Uh-oh. Does get it back going, but he will lose a little bit of time and falls to 14th. So a simple spin, but he has gotten it back underway. 1 second lead for Shane Van Gisbergen, with Foster and Armstrong in suit. The Stingray Rob has actually jumped Mahavir Raghunathan, interestingly, as Raghunathan is actually on the soft, so he's probably going to need to pit a second time. Same with Zilic, so that is quite interesting. As Louis Foster has gone off track, he is backwards. That is the second spinner that we've had. He is going to rejoin the circuit in 6th, 7th actually, as Deletta goes by. So Louis Foster second all the way down to 7th. That is pretty tough. Armstrong now in second, 2 seconds behind Shane Van Gisbergen. Foster pushing a little too hard and finds out the hard way. Dorian Pin in 3rd, Allgaier 4th, and Gagné follows in 5th. Tire wear starting to become more of a factor. Gagné not close enough to really make a move there. But Foster now under attack from Benjamin Peterson, as Foster may have blown his tires spinning out, but he is going to hold the position. Gonna have to see if he can claw his way back through the field. Armstrong under 2 seconds now. Gonna have to keep monitoring that gap. Jet Jordan battling Robbie Lore, Nolan Siegel trying to follow. These two continue to pick off through the field. As we have another off, this one's Lindsay Brewer. She's going to get back going pretty easily. Only, I think, one spot lost to Devlin DiFrancesco. Is Chet Jordan going to make another move, this time on Brendan Hubbard for 16th? Jordan and Siegel being very aggressive. So far, it's working out. Hubbard on the curb, trying to get his spot back, but isn't able to hold it. And Robbie Lore is going to try and go around the outside now. But he's not going to be able to get it, and Nolan Siegel will take advantage and move up to 18th. These two making good time. Connor Zilich, leader of the cars out of pit, but he is on soft tires. It's going to be quite interesting to see how that goes, and Justin Allgaier's now backwards. So a lot of cars sliding around, and he is quite stuck. Gotta try to get that thing refired, or else this may be a yellow. As he is refired. Oh, and he's parked again. They do know he's still running, so a yellow won't be called just yet, but as that will now be a yellow. Yellow flags will be shortened at this track just due to size. But the first yellow of the day is for Justin Allgaier, podium at Motegi. And it's not going to go as well here at the Bend. So it just seems like he just overcooked it and is going to spin around. He's not able to get it back going. We will probably see him back out, maybe, unless he's been booted, which we have seen happen a couple times, but you're going to see a good amount of cars come in and pit here, and then you have some that are going to try and go to halfway. So the strategy has just been turned on its head. I think if you pit here, you might need to pit again, where if you stay out and try to make it to halfway, you could be able to make it to the end on just one stop. Gonna see a lot of interesting strategy calls. Van Gisbergen lost at the Motegi road course because of a strategy call, so he knows how important these are. Will help guys like Foster, who have fallen behind because of a spin. That is two Swindlers cars have now spun out. As Justin Allgaier, it seems like he is out of the race. Not able to get him back going, so he will finish 27th in last place. That is unfortunate, but is what it is, as Shane Van Gisbergen catches the pace car. How did Gagne fall so far behind? as Stingray. Where is he off to? That is a strange part of the course. Oh, under yellow, he spins out and ends up all the way over here. And he is also now out of the race, or at least getting towed. Don't know how he did that. Did the same thing at the Motegi road course, spun out under yellow. Gonna have to see if Stingray can get back out here if his day is also done. So Stingray did get back going. He will be on the lead lap actually. He got out just in time. That is the grass. Nah, he's figured it out. I don't know if he'll be able to catch up to the field in time before we go green, but we will have another pace lap, so we're going to be going green with 12 to go. So yeah, some of your big movers, DeFrancesco up 8 spots. He's currently in 11th. So he's having a good run so far. Ryan Preece is up 4, 12th to 8th. Jet Jordan up 8, 23 to 15. And then Siegel up 9, 26 to 17. So far they're having good runs as Ryan Preece is going to be the first to pit now. Lindsey Brewer going to follow, and a lot of the cars at the back going to come in now. These guys are probably going to be banking on another yellow. Whereas everyone up here, they're going to try to make it to over halfway in the race. Personally, I like the strategy of the guys that stayed out, because I'd much rather try to make it on one stop than two. Unless Ryan Preece thinks he is able to make it to the end. He is going to be on the medium tires, I believe, which I would say is the preferred tire. He may have a decent shot. But keep a watch on Miss 64 because he could be in a good spot strategy-wise. Then you have guys like Connor Zilich who pit already, but didn't pit under this yellow. But I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end on the softs. That's going to be quite a big ask to try to get him there. So, top 10 cars all have stayed out. Shane Van Gisbergen, Marcus Armstrong, Dorian Pin, Guy Gagne, Alessio Gilletta, Louis Foster, Benjamin Peterson, Francesco Draconi, Ethan Martz, and Devlin D. Francesco are your top 10. Malukas, Allen, Jordan, Hubbard, Siegel, and Zilich also stayed out, but Zilich did pit earlier. 17th on down, with Priest, Brewer, and Robbie being the three leaders of this group, have stayed out. And Lindsey Brewer, I would watch this car because she's been known to benefit big off of strategy. Stingray Rob has caught his way back up to the tail end of the pack. He'll be restarting with 12 to go. Only 26 cars left in the race as Justin Allgaier spun, caused a yellow, and he is now out of the race. Pace car will pull off as we get ready to go back green. Shane Van Gisbergen gonna lead us back to green with 12 laps to go. Marcus Armstrong gonna look to the inside. He's gonna have a good draft here, and he may be able to take the lead. Oh man, we are all packed up. Marcus Armstrong gonna be on the inside, but Van Gisbergen gonna be on the preferred line here, but it goes back to Armstrong. Oh, it's close. Who's gonna hang on? And it's gonna be Van Gisbergen just barely, but here comes Armstrong. Trying to look around the outside, but couldn't quite get there. Dorian Pin in third. Louis Foster jumped back up to fourth. He got a good restart. Armstrong trying to chase down Van Gisbergen. Gagne dropped back to 6th, Deletta down to 7th. Malukas gained a couple spots. He's up to 9th. Jet Jordan's up to 12th now. Connor Zilic 16th. Brian Priest, the first car that pitted, no longer first, as it's now Lindsey Brewer who's up to 15th. I said watch at 47, and things could still go in her favor. Deletta's going to get by Gagne here, who's struggling a little bit on the softs. Now he's under threat from Francesco Draconi. Going to get by. And Malukas is going to get by as well. That number 90 is struggling. 1.2 second lead for Van Gisbergen. Pin follows Armstrong. So we could have a battle for second here. And this is a big pack back here. Yeah, Ryan Priest lost a spot on the restart, which is not at all what he wanted, as Chet Jordan still trying to move forward. Foster and Pin going to be battling into turn 1 here. Not quite able to, as Guy Gagne, as predicted, will pit now. So he's going to have about 11 laps to make it on whichever tires he chooses, as Chet Jordan now in the top 10. He's going to get by Ethan Martz here. Nolan Siegel is continuing to cut forward. This is quite the battle back here. Lawless Allen and Nolan Siegel now battling. Gagne leaves pits, 6.5 seconds. Which tire is he on? He is on the mediums. I think that'll be good enough to be able to get to the end. But they know that they can make it pretty far now with Gagne, but he was really struggling there at the end. But he may be able to undercut, get by a lot of these guys. David Malukas under threat from Chet Jordan. He's having quite the day. Been really fun to watch the 24 and 19 move forward. Everyone on the medium tires seems to be doing quite fine, but Draconi's on the soft tires now. And he is really losing the group in front. He's already 8 seconds down. With all these turns, it's quite easy to fall back. When he pits, it's going to be interesting to see where he is versus Gagne. As here comes Chet Jordan trying to look to the inside of Malukas, can't quite get there. 10 laps to go. Shane Van Gisbergen takes the line, as here goes David Malukas up the inside of Draconi, and Chet Jordan will follow. Draconi still deciding to stay out. 3.5 second lead for Shane Van Gisbergen, as Ethan Martz will come in from inside the top 10. Side by side for the lead. Or not lead, this is for 7th, not the lead. And it's going to be Malukas who's just ahead of Chet Jordan. Nolan Siegel now in the top 10. Brian Priest still trying to cut his way forward, but Lindsey Brewer, I believe, is still first out of those that have pitted under the last yellow. Ethan Martz, 6.4 second pit stop, as Ryan Priest tries to battle Brendan Hubbard to move forward. But Hubbard is going to be stubborn and not let him through. Shane Van Gisbergen is really out on his own now, 4.8-second lead. He has led the most laps, so he will get that bonus point as well as his pole bonus point. Armstrong trying to defend from Pin and Foster, as Benjamin Peterson having a good day running back there in 5th. As we do have an incident, the 53 has gone off, but he will get back going, no harm, no foul, except I guess only to him. But Armstrong now really struggling, 5.5 seconds behind Shane Van Gisbergen. He went really hard on the restart, so his tires might be a little toasted now. Gonna have to see who's the first of the mediums to pit. But Van Gisbergen trying to build the gap to Lindsey Brewer, who is 27 seconds back for when he needs to pit, which is now. Gonna have to see where he comes out in terms of traffic. It is a very slow pit lane as Armstrong, Pin, Foster, and Peterson all come in. Alessio Deletta will come in. So nearly all of your leaders have come in. But with how slow this pit lane is, I believe that 47 will be able to catch up and pass. As Malukas and Chet Jordan going to stay out for the lead. This is now the battle for the lead. And Malukas will stay ahead, but all these guys going to jump the leaders. Shane Van Gisbergen going to come out at the tail end of the line. And he's going to have to hope that the cars that pit earlier are going to have to pit again, or else he has been cycled to the back. But with how long he was able to go, I think they might be able to make it. As David Malukas goes around from the lead. That is not good at all. Ryan Priest's going to try and go around the outside, and that's going to cause him to lose some positions. But Lucas still has not gotten going. As Pin has gone off as well. Uh-oh. Something has happened, as that will be a second yellow. Points leader Dorian Pin goes around as well. So David Malukas from first. Going to bring out the second yellow here. Oh, he just loses it. Back here is Dorian Pin. Gonna have to see how she ended off. She's on the soft tires. Oh, and she just goes off. Same with Louis Foster, just way too wide. Trying to get these tires back up to temp, and she's going to lose a lot of spots there. Ryan Priest also had to go off to try to avoid. Oh, he missed a turn. A lot of guys missed that turn. But man, that is a lot of positions that he has just lost. Chet Jordan, now your leader. But he may be in some deep trouble if he has to pit. Because he's going to go straight to the back, so all these positions that he gained may all be for nothing. The guys that have already pit may be in some good shape. Lindsey Brewer followed by Raghunathan. And then the Lore Brothers, Miles Rowe, Stingray Robb, Nico Hulkenberg, Dawa Tenzin, and Ryan Priest. This is a very strange top 10 if it shakes out like this. A couple of them are on the soft tires like Raghunathan. Actually, a lot of them. Raghunathan, Robbie, Rowe, Robb, Hulkenberg, Tenzin, all on softs. This is going to be a wild restart when we get back going. We'll be going green with about 6 to go. And man, that's got a sting for Shane Van Gisbergen. Go all the way back there, but luckily with the yellow flag, he will get a shot to really cut through the field. So that's as unfortunate can be with the strategy. As what is DiFrancesco doing? As that 75 is in bad shape. What has happened here? As he has ran out of fuel, and so has Nolan Siegel. Then can Chet Jordan even make it back? At 19 is stopped, the 49 is losing spots. Something is going strange here. As Chet Jordan may be out as well. Something very strange is occurring. That's out of fuel. They're so close to pit lane. Can they make it back for Chet Jordan and Lawless Allen, who have not pit? He is going to make it back to pit lane. And a lot of the cars that were on softs are going to have to pit again. They know they can't make it to the end, so Raghunathan going to hand it up. But Zilich, he's trying to go all the way to the end. That is bold. So Shane Van Gisbergen going to cycle out to a good spot here. Chet Jordan nearly ran out of fuel. Has he gotten to his box yet? All you got to do is turn in, and he makes it. Actually won't lose much, but Lindsey Brewer is going to have to hang on with Shane Van Gisbergen coming from behind. He's going to be on the soft, so he will be pretty fast on the restart. Armstrong going to be right there as well. But he does have a car in the middle with Tinkle McStinkle in that 53. Be going green with 6 to go. Ryan Preece, unfortunately, is going to be all the way at the back of the field. So the 49, 19, and 75 may be out of the race. I know Malukas is out of the race. But 6 laps, the field has been all shuffled around. So no, DeFrancesco's back in the pits. But that's going to be a tough break for Nolan Siegel with all the ground that he had been able to make today. To be relegated to the back of the field. Guy Gagné also had to pit again, just due to how early he came in. It's going to have to see if Lindsey Brewer can make it to the end. I think she will be able to. But you're going to have some hard chargers back here, but they are on the softs. Nico Hulkenberg on the softs. Connor Zilich on the softs, so a lot of interesting things still to play out with how chaotic the last restart was, with how bunched up they are. Going to see some real bold moves going into turn 1. I believe the 14 is the first Corvette pit. Well, 14th is the first Corvette pit, which is Lawless Allen in the 92 under the last yellow. 6 to go. Gonna have to see what can be done here. As let's get ready to go. Lindsey Brewer gonna get a good jump here at the restart. Connor Zilich on the soft tires, not as fast off the line. Is back here, Shane Van Gisbergen not able to make any moves as everything fans out here. Armstrong gonna go up the inside of McStinkle to take 7th. As Hulkenberg did not get going very quickly, and that is going to bog down these guys. Lubler and Stingray could be in for good results if they're able to make it to the end. Zilich in 2nd. But if he needs to pit, that's going to be pretty hard to overcome with how long it'd be to go down pit lane. These guys trying to get by Hulkenberg, proving to be difficult. Lindsey Brewer, could it be another win on strategy? As the 53 is off track and into the barrier, this may be another yellow flag. That is a destroyed car. I assume this is going to be another yellow. And yes, it is. So on the restart, the 53 goes off and we're going to have a 3rd yellow flag. This is just on his own. Goes way too deep into the grass, and oh, this is going to be a big hit. Oh, there's the first truly destroyed car of this race. Let's go on board. And it's been a rough start to the season for this 53 car, and it just gets worse. Yeah, just whiffs the turn into the barrier. That's going to be a hard hit. So we're going to be going green with maybe like 3 to go. The yellow flag back out once again. This time for the 53 Eventide racing car. A couple guys made up some big positions, Ryan Priest being one of them. He's up to 15th, so we got a pretty good jump. Maybe could recover to a top 10 finish. Chet Jordan, he's up to 13th, so could be a good run for him. Yeah, it looks like we will be going green with 3 to go. So when we come around to the pits, it's going to be interesting to see if any of these guys pull off. I'm mainly watching Zilich and Hulkenberg. Actually watching Stingray as well to see if they'll be able to pull off. I think Glubler is actually in good position here. He's on the mediums. I believe Shane Van Gisbergen, Marcus Armstrong, Benjamin Peterson, he is in a very good spot right now. They're on the softs, but I believe they should be able to make it to the end. Almost everyone is on the softs. there are going to be some cars trying to limp on some old tires, and it's going to provide an interesting last few laps. As Connor Zilich is not going to be able to make it, he pulls into pit lane and Nico Hulkenberg will follow. Unfortunate for the number 9 team. It's going to be another disappointing result. Unless he can have a big result here at the end, as Guy Gagné also pits for whatever reason. But I knew it was going to be tough for him to get to the end on the softs. Tried making it under green flag conditions, but at least he'll be able to make up some spots on a restart here. We're going to be going green with 3 to go. Brewer and Glubler are on the medium, so they may be able to make it to the end, which would be good result for them, especially for Brewer, because she's actually inside the top 10 in points. I believe she is 9th, if I recall. Glubler is down in 16th, so this would be a good result for him. Stingray is going to be limping around on some old tires. Yeah, he's been on the softs for about 10 laps. Van Gisbergen's been on him for 5, but really only 1 lap in green flag condition. But since Stingray hasn't been pushing, we're going to have to see if it's going to be okay. And could Glubler get the jump and go around Brewer? It's going to be tough to tell. But a lot still to play for. Man, this has been an interesting strategy race. It's folded on top of itself multiple times. Chet Jordan may somehow still get a top 10 out of this, which would be incredible if he could pull that off. He is the biggest mover, up 12 spots. Wallace Allen could be on for 2 back-to-back top 10s. That would be a very good stretch of runs for him. Ryan Preece currently in his best result. Raghunathan doing well. Lindsey Brewer from 14th on the grid up to first. Actually, I was wrong. It's not Chet Jordan who's the biggest mover. It's Stingray, 27th, third. So up 24 spots, nearly as high as you could possibly go. But can he make it to the end? Well, if he doesn't make it, then it's going to be Glubler who is the biggest mover, and that's assuming he finishes second, because he still does also have a way to go. Van Gisbergen, Armstrong, they're going to have to be aggressive. Peterson has looked very aggressive today. So if he can pull off a top 5 here, that'd be really good. He hasn't looked too good on the ovals so far, but the road courses, from what we've seen, he's actually been able to manage himself pretty well. Points leader Dorian Pin down in 8th, not having the greatest run after the off under the yellow. As second in points, Francesco Draconi having a rough day. He's all the way back in 21st after running out of fuel, went too long. Paid the price. So through the final few turns, we're going to have to see how this restart goes. The first one, very congested. Second one, a lot more spread out. Lindsey Brewer needs a good jump here. As let's get ready to go. Pace car pulls off. And we are green. Not the greatest jump for Lindsey Brewer, but not good at all for Glubler. And Stingray's going to be in trouble here as here comes Shane Van Gisbergen up the inside. Armstrong going to follow. And Van Gisbergen's only able to get to third. Armstrong will follow into fourth. Peterson going to be back there side by side with Louis Foster. We're going to have to see if Lindsey Brewer can get away. But Shane Van Gisbergen's going to be coming in fast if he can keep it good on the tires, as Van Gisbergen's going to get around Glubler and he's going to take second. So we're going to have to see if Van Gisbergen can chase down Lindsey Brewer for first. He's already 3 tenths back. This is going to be a great run if he can pull this off. But he is going to have to make it to the end on the soft tires. He cannot let a yellow flag come out now when he's behind. There's now a car between Van Gisbergen and Armstrong, so that's good news for him. Stingray's trying to hang on to fifth on those old soft tires. But Van Gisbergen is all over the back of Lindsey Brewer. Dorian Pin has gotten by teammate Louis Foster, so that's another position for her. That's more points, as Armstrong has gotten Glubler. So now he is on the podium. Van Gisbergen gonna be following right behind, needs to make the move on the front stretch, it seems. Just needs to hope that no one makes a mistake in the back of the field. Connor Zilich up a good few spots since the restart. He's up to 19th. Chet Jordan didn't get a great restart. He's down to 13th, and Ryan Preece is 11th, chasing down his teammate for a top 10. His Team Eggs currently sits 10th, 11th, and 12th. Those are also the 3 Toyotas. We are going to be coming to 2 laps to go. Lindsey Brewer heavy on the brakes into the second to last turn, and then back on the front stretch. Van Gisbergen gonna be in a great drafting position here. 8 tenths, 7 tenths. He's gonna go around the outside, and he's gonna get it done. Shane Van Gisbergen to the lead of this race. Back here, Louis Foster, he shuffled his way back up to 5th, and he's gonna get by Stingray Robb here. Big moves have moved him forward as Dorian Pin moves back behind the 2 Banshees cars. As Ryan Preece trying to go around teammate Lawless Allen for a top 10. That's someone that really needs a top 10. But Van Gisbergen half a second up the road. Brewer holding up Armstrong. Does Armstrong have anything, as Ryan Preece is now in the top 10 here. Dorian Pin trying to go by Deletta, can't get it done. Here comes Lawless Allen for 10th. 2 laps to go, and Chet Jordan not going to be able to get there, so he's going to still be in 12th. Shane Van Gisbergen just needs to keep it clean. He'll be in victory lane. One and a half second lead. Armstrong going to be trying to chase down Brewer, but Van Gisbergen is going away. Glubler hanging on to a 4th place. Louis Foster's going to try to be chasing him down, but he's going to have to make up his soft tires as Glubler will go off right as I say. Oh man, commentator's jinx. He is going to be able to get back going, but he's going to need to wait, and that is going to be a lot of positions lost. 3-second lead for Van Gisbergen. Unfortunate for Glubler, he is going to be all the way down in 24th. Been a rough season for that team. Stingray Robb on the soft tires, still managing a 5th. That's quite incredible. As right as I say that, Stingray Robb goes around. Commentator's curse takes out both the Magenta Trees drivers as white flag for Shane Van Gisbergen. here at the bend. And Lindsey Brewer going to try to hang on to second, but here comes Marcus Armstrong, going to peek to the outside. Gonna try to outbrake her, and gonna be able to get the move done. Marcus Armstrong takes second on the last lap, as Connor Zilic needs to pit again. Something is wrong. Not enough fuel in the tank. The fueling has gone wrong, as Chet Jordan now up to 8th as he gets by Lawless Allen and Ryan Preece. Six-second lead for Van Gisbergen. Man, Connor Zilic going to finish all the way down in 24th as it stands. That is quite rough. Just a little bit of fuel, but a mistake on the fueling. They expected another yellow. With how aggressive everyone was, that was a pretty bold move. Man, Viking Racing, best car currently, Brendan Hubbard down in 14th. So Shane Van Gisbergen, most laps led today. A big restart. Helps him get there to the end. Just a few more turns to go. As Lawless Allen has gone off from inside the top 10. That's going to hurt as he's going to tumble to the back of the field. But final two turns for Shane Van Gisbergen. As it will be the number one. For the second time in OWOL history, it's going to be the number one that wins a race. But Shane Van Gisbergen wins the Australian Grand Prix. First win of the season for him. As Marcus Armstrong going to come home second. That's back-to-back podiums. Lindsey Brewer third. Louis Foster fourth. And then here comes Benjamin Peterson to take fifth. A thrilling race. With so many variables. Yeah, it's the pole sitter who's able to make it back to the end. Good strategy on the 47 team. The magenta trees nearly had it figured out, but two spins. It's going to be hard to make those tires last all the way to the end, and they weren't able to. Let's take a look at your final results. Shane Van Gisbergen, this is a this is the longest road course race due to the yellows and how long the track is. He's going to pull it off by about 7 seconds over Marcus Armstrong. Lindsey Brewer, strategy not able to work out in her way. This time she'll finish third, but she'll gladly take the points on that. Louis Foster in fourth, a good day for him. Benjamin Peterson will finish fifth, his first top five of the season. Alessio Deletta in sixth, that's a good result. We said the Banshees were going to be good at this track, and it looked quite promising. Dorian Pinn, your points leader coming into this race, will finish seventh. Chet Jordan from 23rd to 8th, that's a very good run. Ryan Preece, despite everything, will make it into the top 10. And Ethan Martz will round out your top 10 as he comes home in 10th. That's going to be two straight top 10s for him. Mahavir Raghunathan going to finish in 11th. It's been a pretty quiet but good start to the season for Raghunathan. Robbie Lohr going to finish in 12th. Nolan Siegel going to try to rebound to a 13th. It's going to be the best result from the Viking Racing today. Tough day for that team. Brendan Hubbard down in 14th. Devlin DiFrancesco takes 15th. 16th will be Miles Rowe. 17th, Guy Gagne. 18th, Nico Hulkenberg. 19th, Dawa Tenzin. 20th, Francesco Draconi. 21st, Glubler Lore. 22nd, Lawless Allen. 23rd, Stingray Rob. And then tough break for Connor Zilich, who will finish down in 24th. And then your three DNFs, Tinkle McStinkle is going to finish 25th. Rough season for him. Even rougher for David Malukas, who will finish 26th, as he's all the way down in 26th in points. And Justin Allgaier, first podium, came at Motegi, but tough result here today. He'll finish in 27th. So that is it from the Bend. The first time we've ever raced here. A lot of strategy and a lot of interesting moving parts. But that was quite the exciting race. Up next, we go to Interlagos for the second time. First time since season 2, as it's going to be quite an exciting race. And I hope to see you guys there, as qualifying will be on Friday and the race will be on Saturday.